Hello and welcome back to AdaPulse, the community-funded news channel that keeps you up to date with all the news and current projects working on the Cardano ecosystem. Today we're talking to Vladimir, the founder of the Apecoins project. We talk about privacy as NFT tokens, the role of privacy in blockchains, and much more. I hope you enjoy. Can you just give me like a brief overview of the project?
Yeah, sure. So Ncoins basically it is NFTs. So and it is basically it's a wrapper for other native assets on Cardano. So you can essentially you can put any asset, native asset, into this Ncoin, and only you will know the value that is inside. And so at any point in time, you can redeem this coin by burning it and retrieve the value inside from the smart contract. So the way it is done is when you mint these N coins, you mint several ones of them, and you deposit the total amount that you want to have as N coins into the smart contract. And it's you who, as a user, who decides how much each coin will worth. The only important thing is that in total they add up to the same value that you are depositing into the smart contract. So this way you get some privacy in terms of how much is inside each coin, and you can with each of those coins, as they are just NFTs on Cardano, you can do whatever you want with them. You can trade them, you can sell them on a marketplace. Basically, anything you can do with NFT, you can do with Ncoins, and maybe even more, because each coin has a fixed price, fixed redemption cost that only you know, but you can share it with someone else. So this is the base protocol. And then on top of it, we have what we call Ncoins ledger. So Ncoins ledger is a smart contract where you can deposit your Ncoins, and basically every user of Ncoins can deposit their coins into this smart contract. And it's basically a shared address for securely storing your Ncoins. And what it allows you to do is you can transfer value to someone else by just sending them a message off chain with the redemption code for Ncoin. So when it is on inside the smart contract, which we call Ncoins ledger, you can just message someone the redemption code, and they can get the value of this coin. And what other thing which is cool about Ncoins ledger is that you don't need to interact with it directly. We will have what we call relayers. So it's basically a backend infrastructure which will be run by probably by stake pool operators that want to participate. And basically imagine you're sending, let's say I send you some Ncoins that are sitting in this Ncoins ledger. So I'm sharing a redemption code for several ones of them. Now you may not trust me because we don't know each other very well. So and since we are sharing this code, you want to have the full control of it. So what you can do is you can ask a relayer to burn those coins that are sitting inside the coins ledger and to mint the new ones with new redemption code that only you know. So this way you can finalize our transaction, and without directly interacting with those coins, you get the full control of them.
Okay, so that's quite interesting. So you don't actually have to transfer the end coins to another user. So there's no, so you can sort of de-link the two users. Let's just talk a little bit more about the sort of the base protocol. So say I send the script 1,000 ADA, I can then choose how many endcoins I want to create and then the value exactly of each endcoin, as long as it adds up to 1,000.
Yes, exactly.
Sure. And anybody sort of looking at that transaction would be able to see the amount that I send and the endcoins that I receive, but not know the actual worth of each endcoin. How does that work? How do I know the worth and no one else can know the worth?
Yeah, so in order to do this, we use what is called zero-knowledge cryptographic proofs. So basically, so each coin has a different. So NFTs have basically two parts. They consist of two parts. There is one hash that is called like currency symbol, which will be the same for all N coins. And then the second part is called asset name. And this part will be different for each coin. And this is basically a hash of the the value of this coin. And basically you send or you post on chain the proof that the values are all correct and they add up to 1,000 ADA in this example.
Okay.
And this yes, sorry, and this proof it does not reveal any more information besides that it adds to 1,000 ADA.
Okay. But as someone say looking at that transaction, how do you completely hide the amount of ADA that's in an endcoin? Would you have to produce multiple? Say I want an endcoin worth 2,000 ADA, but if I just send 2,000 ADA to the script and I get one endcoin back, it's very likely that someone can deduce the amount of ADA in that endcoin. Is there a specific number of endcoins that I need to make to sort of mask which one has the value?
Yeah, so normally you would want to mint at least two. So the two is the minimal amount, and then obviously if both of them are sitting in your wallet, then people can deduce that you have this total amount that you sent. But when you send at least one of them to someone else, then it becomes uncertain. So because you may send all 2,000 ADA to someone else, and you have a zero coin, and or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe you send someone a zero coin and you have 2,000, or maybe it's something in between. Of course.
Okay, and so you can redeem these endcoins with the minting key, right? So I could send the endcoin to another user, and then I'd also have to send them the minting key with that, so they can access that ADA. Currently, I was reading your white paper. Currently, you have to send that minting key off chain. Is that correct?
Yes. So this is the base scenario: is that you can send it basically using any messenger or any off-chain infrastructure that you want. But we also planning to allow users to do it on chain, and this will be done through Endshare, which we announced I don't know, a few weeks ago. So basically, if you are a user of other handle, you will be able to generate sort of a public key, and other users can encrypt some data using your public key and send some information on chain in this encrypted format. So in particular, they will be able to send minting keys encrypted on chain. And when you, for example, open our DEP, so they will be automatically retrieved. So all encrypted messages will be checked if it's a message for you, and if it's for you, then those coins will be automatically retrieved.
Okay, and say I want to buy a certain NFT and I'm making a deal with another user, and I'm sending it, and I don't want to reveal how much I'm paying for this NFT, and I'm sending an Ncoin worth, say, 1,000 ADA. How does, I mean, it would have to work on trust that I send the Ncoin, and then they verify how much ADA is in that NFT, in the Ncoin NFT, and then they would send me the NFT? Or is there a way to sort of smart contract that?
No, it's not. It will not be a smart contract. Basically, again, you can, as a buyer, you can send a cryptographic proof that the Ncoins that you want to send to them are worth exactly this amount of ADA.
Oh, okay.
And then you can make a transaction where you send them exactly these coins for which you prove that they worth exactly this amount of ADA.
Okay, so you can sort of send proof to certain individuals without actually sending them the minting key. Okay. So in your white paper, you mention a few use cases for Ncoins, such as P2P exchange, private NFT ownership, OTC trading. Can you just go into some detail into what sort of platforms can be built upon the base layer Ncoins protocol?
Yeah, sure. Well, I hope that actually the community will this project will catch up, and that maybe some of those platforms will be built by the community. And so for now, in the foreseeable future, we want to focus on collaborations with other projects. So I think, let's say, if you can pay at NFT marketplace with Ncoins, like at JPEG store or something else, so that would be great. So different use cases where you can buy something digital with ADA. We hope to collaborate with you and to provide another way to pay for this with Ncoins.
Sure. What does the what does the roadmap look like currently? When do you plan to launch?
Yeah. So for now, what we announced is that so our ISPO ends somewhere in February. It's a little bit the date a little bit fluctuates, but somewhere by the end of February, we want to do the minting of our governance tokens, and at the same time, we want to launch the public test version. And from there, I think we will need 1 or 2 months of testing before we can go to the mainnet. Yeah, so that's the short-term roadmap, and then well, we have many enhancements that we have planned for 2023. So updating the version of Ncoins to use something like midnight maybe, and if it launches in
Yeah,
2023, of
it's a great
course.
question.
Uh, yeah, but also improving our UI, UX. And so currently we plan to launch the Ncoins just for wrapping ADA. But later on, you could imagine that we could do the same thing with other assets, especially the popular ones like maybe some stable coins. I don't know. Yeah.
And you're actually able to wrap an NFT as well in an Ncoin. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, yes, but it is a little bit more difficult because NFT, it's you can create several Ncoins, and only one of them has this NFT, and the other ones are just empty, right? So you can create some privacy this way, but I don't know if it's good enough. So
Yeah,
we are thinking about this design. What else can we do
yeah,
with
sure.
NFTs?
I mean, I was just reading about that, and it sort of sparked things. A lot of art in the real world is held by private collections where the ownership isn't known.
Yeah.
Currently, NFTs are,
Hmm.
yeah, you can see exactly who owns them. So it gives an interesting use case for privately owned NFTs, especially those of high value, because it lowers then the attack vector on certain accounts. And I think that's a very important sort of use case for using Ncoins is
Yes.
could you comment a bit on this? With like just the privacy aspect of not just sort of keeping private your transactions, but it actually stops attackers actually targeting you for the amount of ADA that you hold.
Yes, exactly. So if you if you consider two examples where in one case you hold just a lot of ADA in your wallet, and another person holds just some N coins worth the same amount of ADA, uh, the attackers will probably target the one who holds ADA because it's really uncertain how much exactly do those N coins worth, how much they worth. So yeah, it's also about security. So yeah, holding endpoints adds like another layer to
Mm-hmm.
your security. And you can also, of course, if you want more security, you could also hold some of your assets in smart contracts, for example. Well, it depends on a smart contract, but for example, in Ncoins Ledger, you just it adds a little bit even more security on top of it because
Mm-hmm.
every user can hold them in this at this smart contract, and it's not clear which wallet is behind each of those coins.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess it's even more secure if you hold it in Ncoins Ledger.
So Ncoin's ledger in sort of in a way works as sort of a Web3 bank.
Well, yeah, it's a common smart contract, common address for all Ncoins
Mm-hmm.
users where they can hold Ncoins.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. So I think there's a sort of a big misconception in the public mind that blockchains are private and that the transactions you do on them are private. However, most of them are actually more transparent than the financial system. You can on Cardano, you can look at every single transaction that's ever happened. What role does privacy play
Mhm.
in blockchains?
Well, yeah, I think privacy is very important going forward, especially if blockchains become mainstream, their use cases. So you will hold in the future. I imagine the world where you hold hundreds of NFTs in your wallet, or you own hundreds of NFTs, and some of them are more valuable than others. But protecting your holdings will be very important. So privacy plays a big role in this.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I imagine that in the future we will have, not JPEG in NFTs, but actually the useful ones where
Yeah,
that maybe serve as subscription to some service, or maybe as a ticket to some event
hmm,
or something like this, or maybe they hold some property rights. So it will be important to protect and maybe to keep those things private, I think.
sure. Yeah, and I think there's always a sort of a balance between privacy and transparency in terms of onboarding the financial system to Web3. There obviously needs to be some sort of transparencies, and there's a big topic about digital IDs. But I think it's very important to sort of keep
Mhm.
a privacy aspect and a privacy layer, especially on blockchain. You mentioned before about midnight. What are your thoughts on midnight? Where do you think it could go, and how would Ncoins utilize it?
Yeah, so we don't have a lot of technical details right now, but from my understanding, it will allow you to implement all kinds of privacy and confidentiality apps more easily than on Cardano, because right now the support for privacy apps is very limited on
Hmm.
Cardano. The restrictions on the transaction size and on the complexity of computations are very strict on Cardano, and maybe Midnight will support those kinds of applications more seamlessly for developers. So yeah, I think Midnight will inspire uh, many people to develop dApps in this area.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's a very exciting prospect, and hopefully they'll release a bit more information soon. So I asked
Yeah.
this of all the guests that I talked to. How have you found building on Cardano, say a year ago compared to now? And what's one thing that Cardano could really improve to help developers build in the future?
Yeah, so for us, we earlier on when we started a year ago, we decided that we want to develop most of our things in Haskell. So in this regard, maybe it was okay from the start, but now you have many tools. You have choice to develop in other languages as well, but certainly. Um, in many respects, the improvements are great, even for Haskell developers, because besides, of course, the Vassal hard fork was really enabled us to build endcoins, because before that it was impossible to do it the way we want to do it. And yeah, and in terms of, so obviously, IOG, they are building things like Cardano wallet backend and chain index and all this stuff. See, so great progress during this year, and yeah, right now it's in much better place than it was a year ago. Yeah, and there are new tools that appear from third parties, like for example, Kupo is a fast and lightweight chain index substitute. So we will definitely use this one for our backend infrastructure for relayers.
Okay. And so last question: why choose Cardano? Why choose Cardano
Yeah,
to
so
develop on? Yeah.
yeah. So I personally came from research. I was a researcher in applied mathematics in control theory. So I understand the appeal of doing rigorous research and then building on top of it. I see how it streamlines the development process, because a huge part of development is creating, imagining the idea, creating the protocol, proving that this concept works. So if you just go to IOG's website and you read all those papers, or just scan through them. So this basically gives you an idea for the roadmap, like 2-3 years in the future, because a lot of the things that they have in their library that they did in collaborations with academia, not all of these things are implemented yet. So it's a great roadmap for the next 2 or 3 years. So, and I don't think that many other projects have this kind of strong roadmap ahead of them. They made some decisions early on, and then they have to, deal with the consequences of
Yeah.
those
Sort
decisions.
of the move fast and break things Silicon Valley approach
Yes,
to
yes.
development. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly the same for me. I've spent hours reading the papers, sort of a lot of the time banging my head on the wall trying to understand them. But it does sort of inspire me with confidence that there's a lot of smart people working on the project.